Hi and hello guys, I'm Prasi and today we are gonna see the story of the Little Red Riding Hood. Many years ago, there was a little girl who lived in a village near the forest. Her father was a woodcutter. The little girl would always wear a red riding hood, so everyone called her a Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, the Little Red Riding Hood thought it has been long since I saw my grandma. So she asked her mom, "Oh, mother, may I go to see my grandmother's place? I long to meet her." "Sure, that's a good idea," smiled her mother. "And I shall pack a nice travel basket for you to take to your grandmother." So the next morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother baked some good cakes and snacks. When the basket was ready, she handed it over to Little Red Riding Hood and said, "Here, my dear, give it to your grandma. She'll be happy." Little Red Riding Hood got ready and set out to her grandmother's place across the forest. "Be careful, my child. Go straight to the grandma house. Don't talk to strangers, and the woods are dangerous," cautioned her mother. "Don't worry, Mom. I'll be careful," said Little Red Riding Hood as she headed towards the thick woods. On the way, she was delighted to see lovely flowers and colorful butterflies. With her tiny steps, the girl reached the heart of the forest. So she was in the thoughts of seeing her grandma that she did not even notice a dark shadow approaching out of the bushes. It was a wolf. Seeing the lovely girl, the wicked wolf thought, "How nice it would be if I could eat her up." But he feared the woodcutters working nearby. So he chalked out a plan. Pretending to be friendly, the cunning wolf came near Little Red Riding Hood. "Who are you, little girl?" he asked. "I am Little Red Riding Hood," she replied. "What are you doing out here?" asked the wolf again. "I'm gonna see my grandma," replied the Little Red Riding Hood in her sweet voice. "Oh, that's great. Does she live far off?" asked the wolf. Not so far from here, just across the forest, near the brook," said the little girl. "Oh, I see. Well, it seems you are carrying gifts for her too," muttered the wolf again. But by now Little Red Riding Hood had realized that it was getting late. "Please excuse me," she said, and hurried down the path to her grandma's house. The wolf ran too. He knew the shortest route through the forest. Much ahead of Little Red Riding Hood, he reached her grandmother's house. Knock, knock, he tapped at the door. "Who is there?" answered an old voice from inside the house. "It's me, Grandma, your very own Little Red Riding Hood," squeaked the wolf. "Oh, come in, my dear," said the grandmother and opened the door. The wolf quickly got in, and then even before the old woman could know what was happening, the wolf pounced upon her and ate her up. He then shut the door and put on the old woman's nightgown. He added a frilly sleeping cap and got into the grandmother's bed, pulling the covers over him. "Little Red Riding Hood must be here any time now," he thought. Just then the little girl knocked the door. The wolf pulled the covers over his nose and pretended to be sick. "Who is it?" he called in a creaking voice. "Me, Grandma, Little Red Riding Hood," she replied. "Oh, my dear," the wolf cried out in the softest way he could. "I'm not well. I can't get up from the bed. Pull the bobbin and latch will go up." Little Red Riding Hood pulled the bobbin and the door opened. As soon as she came in, she sensed something unusual, but she thought it's because her grandmother was ill. "Come to me, my child," said the wolf, hiding himself under the bedclothes. When Little Red Riding Hood saw her grandmother, she could not recognize her. "Oh, grandmother, your voice sounds odd. Why is that?" she asked. "Nothing serious, my child. I just have a touch of cold," squeaked the wolf and pretended to cough. Little Red Riding Hood had a better look at her grandmother this time. "Oh, Grandma, what big ears you have!" she exclaimed. "All the better to hear you with, my dear," replied the wolf. "But, Grandmother, what big eyes you have!" praised the Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to see you with, my dear," said the wolf. As Little Red Riding Hood was talking to the wolf, thinking her to be her grandmother, she was approaching closer and closer to the bed. In the meantime, it so happened that a woodcutter had seen Little Red Riding Hood in the forest while she was on her way to her grandmother's house. He had also seen her talking to the wolf. He feared that the wolf might follow her. So the kind woodcutter went to the little girl's house and informed her parents about the probable danger. "We don't have much time," cried the little girl's father and ran towards the old woman's house. Back in the grandma's house, the Little Red Riding Hood was still confused. What went wrong with her grandma? She took another step towards the bed, staring harder at the grandma's face and said, "Oh, Grandma, what big teeth you have! All the better to eat you with, my dear," roared the wolf. He threw up his cover and sprang out of the bed. The Little Red Riding Hood at once realized the danger and ran across the room. The wolf began chasing the little girl. "Someone help!" cried out the Little Red Riding Hood. She was shivered with fear. But just in time her woodcutter father arrived there, carrying his sharp axe in his hand. He broke open the door, charged at the hungry wolf. Seeing her father, Little Red Riding Hood felt revealed. Her father then grabbed the wolf by the neck and killed him. "Ah!" cried the wicked wolf, and then lo! there popped out the wolf's belly the poor grandma of Little Red Riding Hood. Much to everyone's surprise and joy, she was still alive. "Oh, Grandma!" cried the Little Red Riding Hood. She ran and hugged her. "I'm glad you're safe." "We all are safe, my child," smiled her grandmother. "Thanks to your father who saved us." "Thanks to the kind woodcutter who informed me in the time," said the little girl's father. And they all had a nice time. Hope you all enjoyed this story. Thank you for watching this story, guys. If you want more videos of me, subscribe my channel. See you again in another video, guys. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.